Good morning, Facebook. This is Pastor Paul on this Motivational Monday. I hope everyone had a blessed Sunday, and I hope that everybody has been encouraged thus far from the videos that I share. I do encourage you to share these videos to everyone that you possibly can because everybody is in need of encouragement. Before this morning, I want to talk to you with this message coming from the book of Acts chapter 27. And in the book of Acts chapter 27, Paul would be facing one of the toughest trials that he has ever faced thus far. Paul would be on a ship to Rome to be persecuted. But before he could reach his destination, Paul and the crew found themselves to be shipwrecked. But the good news was that before the shipwreck even happened, Paul had confirmation from an angel to let him know that there would be no loss of life from the shipwreck. But just for a few moments on this morning, I want to talk to you about the benefits of wreckage. The benefits of wreckage. And I know that as strange as it sounds, there are some benefits from wreckage. Three things that you'll find out through this text is that the benefits of wreckage. It's in those moments, in those low moments of life, that you really find your dependence and your need for God. But also in those moments is you really see, number one, you see the power of God. That you know that if Paul knew that if he was going to make it out of this shipwreck, he knew that he would have to rely on the power of God. But then not only did he have to rely on the power of God, Paul had to rely on the presence of God, knowing that whatever that Paul was going through, and even though he was in the midst of the storm and they have not ate for many days, that the presence of God was with him. But then lastly, Paul had to understand is that if he was going to survive this shipwreck, he would have to rely on the promises of God. He had to realize that if God said he was going to do it, he will do it. And my brothers and sisters on this morning, I want to encourage you that if God will bring you to it, surely God will bring you through it. And I want to close on this morning with a simple story. There was this young man. He was playing baseball in his neighborhood when suddenly one of his friends threw the ball over a fence. And the little boy said, "You know what, I'll go get this baseball." And when he crossed over the fence, this young boy saw a junkyard. And he saw all this junk in this yard, and he began to ask the question, why is there so much trash in this yard? Then the old man, the owner of the house in the junkyard, it says, "Well, it depends who you ask." He says, "Young boy," he says, "to me, in my eyes," he says, "I can clearly see the value of all this junk." And the young boy replied to the old man. He said, "Old man," he says, "why do you want to keep all this trash? Why do you want to keep all this junk?" He said, "There's no value in it." He said, "Young boy," he said, "one thing that I have on you that you will never understand is that I have experience. And because I have experience in dealing with junk and dealing with wreckage and dealing with things that people want to cast aside and throw away," he says, "I'm able to see the value in everything." He said, "You see that car over there?" He said, "Even though that car has been through a crash," he said, "there are still very valuable parts on that car." He said, "There are several pieces that people can use to take off this old car and put on another car so that their car can continue to run." And what I'm simply saying on this morning is that if you are around the wrong people who's not specialized in taking care of you, they will never be able to see the value that you have. But luckily, I know someone who is a specialist in wreckage. And my brothers and sisters, Christ is one who knows how to handle those who have been damaged. He is one that knows how to handle people that have been through the storms and the wrecks of life. But I want to continue to tell you that yes, you may lose the ship. Yes, you may lose some things. You may lose some friends. You may lose some family members. But the encouraging thing is that you will survive. Happy Monday and God bless.